Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, call the meeting to order. And first thing on the agenda is to approve the minutes from the previous meeting.
Make that motion. Second.
Motion by Neil and second by Ben, all in favor.
Aye.
Next, we have approved the payment of the bills.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Darren and second by Jason, all in favor.
Aye.
Next, we have approved the treasurer's budget transfers as presented.
Motion.
Motion by Ben, second by Brenda, all in favor.
Aye.
Next, we have approved the treasurer's monthly settlement. Motion by Brenda,
Second.
second by Ben, all in favor. Let's see, approved to change the opioid fund number to 74 per DGL. What we got?
Deal.
Or, yeah, I'm sorry.
They didn't
My
tell us.
dyslexia is acting up.
That's okay. They didn't tell us what account number. We just had several to choose from. And different counties chose different ones, and they want everyone to use the same one, and they picked 74. So I need to change. Now it was 76, but now it's 74.
So it's just it's an identification number.
Yes.
Okay, gotcha. I need a motion to approve that. Motion by Ben.
Second.
Second by
Darren.
All in favor?
Aye.
And approve to close the ARPA bank account, the ARPA bank account at the end of June.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Darren, second by Brenda. All in favor?
Aye.
Next, we have County Road Aid, CRA, and Local Government Economic Assistance, LGEA, hearing. And is anyone here for the hearing? And nobody? Okay, moving on. Next, we need to approve first reading of the Grayson County Fiscal Court's budget for 2026.
Motion.
Motion by Ben.
Second.
Second by Brian, all in favor, and you all got a copy of that.
Right.
And Matt, did you all get a copy of all that?
Yeah, it's not in there, but I'll get them one.
We'll get you all a copy of it. So that way you can publish it or what have you, and then plus we give her a copy and it's at the clerk's office as well, so. Approve the jailer's payment of bills.
Motion.
Motion by Neil.
Second.
Second by Ben, all in favor.
Aye.
Next, we have approved jailer's budget transfers as presented.
Motion.
Motion by Darren, second by Brenda, all in favor.
Aye.
Next, we have approved county clerk's claim for calculation of motor vehicles and boat bills for 2025.
Motion.
Motion by Darren,
Second.
second by Ben, all in favor.
Aye.
Next, we've got approved the sheriff's monthly settlement. Motion by Brenda,
Second.
second by Jason, all in favor.
Aye.
All right, next we've got a presentation from Sheriff Chaffins on flock cameras.
So, can you stand up and see, you know?
I'm calling Spencer, he's with Flock, and I'm gonna put him on speakerphone. That way you all be able to ask any questions, he can hear what's going on as well. Hey Spencer, I've got you on speakerphone. I'm getting ready to just give them my spiel first, and then I've got you available to answer any questions, if that's okay.
That works.
Okay, so we been working with the city police, and I've been following up with them about how their flock cameras are working, and they've used them on a couple of occasions already. I know they've got a couple of stolen vehicles and other complaints as well. I actually followed up with called Jeremy Thompson. He's the chief of police in Elizabethtown, and he said his exact words were, "This has been a game changer for law enforcement in Hardin County." And he said they're actually not going back. They're actually probably going to purchase more cameras because it's helped him solve robberies, abductions, and things like that. So or kidnappings is the word he used. But I wanted to kind of knock out some rumors and things that they're not, that people think they're going to be used for. I can go up in front of a camera, a flock camera in Litchfield right now, and stand in front of the camera, and it's not gonna tell you that that's Norman Chaffins. I mean, people seeing it will probably recognize my ears and know it's me, but other than that, then that's not what it's for, okay? These are simply plate readers. And if we have a vehicle that was involved in a crime, and we get a somewhat direction of travel, we can, if they go past one of those flock cameras, it's gonna pick up that tag number. It doesn't tell us who's in the car, but it tells us who that vehicle belongs to, and it certainly gives us a huge tool for law enforcement to be able to track that vehicle. We have used, actually, we didn't have cameras, and we used flock cameras that Hardin County had, and we were able to get a suspect that was here in Caneyville, Kentucky, that stole an item a purse out of one of their citizens' cars. We had a general direction of travel. We knew what kind of vehicle it was based on a camera that wouldn't pick up the plate. We had a vehicle description. We put that vehicle description in the flock system, which is, I think it's about 18. They're connected to 18,000 other cameras, flock cameras throughout the nation. And there's also, it was that same vehicle was seen in Hardin County, and they knew it because of the tag number. They kept switching tags, but even though they kept switching tags, it was still picking up that vehicle description on the flock cameras, and we were able to develop a suspect from that. No one actually got a look at the driver, but I think there's going to be charges in Hardin County and probably on him. So that's what these are used for, these flock cameras. It would certainly help us in our investigations as well. I think that it's kind of getting ahead of the curve in doing things, because in the past we've kind of been about 10, 20 years behind as far as technology for law enforcement goes, and we're just starting to get that back up with computers and Wi-Fi's in the car and tools like that. So I think this will be a game changer for us as well. If we get a request to have a deputy at this location to look for a car, that's essentially what these cameras are going to do. It's almost like having additional deputies out there looking for tags and looking for tag numbers or stolen vehicles or whatever crime's being committed. And I know I don't have to sell this to you guys, because I've talked to each one of you individually at points, and I know that most people are for them, and I know it's going to be a financial thing, I'm sure, but I think it's something that will benefit us, and I think in the long run they'll pay themselves off with the good things that happen because we have these cameras.
What do you want?
Well, they did. Flock has done, like he got on a map and did Grayson County. We've looked at having 20 cameras that would cover about every road that we need, especially the major roads in the county. We would have to, we're going to sit down, and if we were to get approved to do this, we would sit down and fine tune where we're going to place these cameras at. And it would certainly, those cameras would cover all the major roads in and out of the county as well. You name a location, and there's probably if somebody gets on one of the major roads or even the county roads, then they're going to be caught on this flock camera if they committed a crime.
What's the cost of the cameras and then the reoccurring cost every year?
Did you hear that question, Spencer? They're wanting to know.
Yep, so the reoccurring cost for the cameras, which includes hardware, software, maintenance, install, any upgrades that we do to our software, is $46,050. And then we were also able to get the approval, if the team's able to move forward this month, to waive the entire install fee, which is around $15,700, excuse me.
I didn't hear him correctly. Was the first figure including the installation?
Was the first figure including the installation? 46,000.
That is correct. Yep. So we waive the installation, so you're not going to have to pay that. So the reoccurring cost, and the only cost that matters, is the $46,050.
And that's for 20 cameras?
That is for the 20 cameras, yes, sir.
Wow.
Every year,
That's a yearly cost, is that correct?
for 20.
That is correct.
And that does include, like I said, I know I talked to David, and they had something, an issue with one of their cameras, and of course they called Flock, and it was fixed before they even knew it was fixed. So they can pretty much, what needs to be fixed is done remotely as well.
Yep.
What's the cost of the camera, the initial startup?
What's the initial startup cost for the camera to basically get to where we those 20 cameras are?
Yep, so each unit's cost is $3,000 per LPR camera.
Okay, that's just a license, LPR camera is a license plate reader.
So,
Yes, sir.
so we're looking at 60 grand.
And that's every year, is that right? We gotta pay that every year?
Yeah, it's a yearly thing.
$2,300 a camera?
So is that what it ends up being for the 20 cameras, $2,300 a camera?
I thought he said 33.
I thought
So-
it was 23 for the maintenance.
So I guess the question is the $46,000, that's the startup, that's to get, and then after that, it's $3,000 per camera, so that would be 60,000. Yeah, cause he waived the 15,000 installation fee, so, but it'd be $3,000 or basically $60,000 a year after that, is that correct?
No, so the 46,000 is all the cameras, and the reason there's probably a discrepancy in kind of the math there is because one of the cameras is a long-range camera, and then there's also, we have two different cameras that are multi-purpose, essentially one pole, but we have a live video and then a LPR on one way just to kind of help, I think, with the roundabout over, blanket right now, that's over in Candyville at that roundabout, so that was why we had that one, and that cost is different than what the traditional LPR is.
Okay. But the initial cost,
We can update that and send you guys a formalized version of what that would look like in a contract after this meeting, that would be helpful.
okay, so the 46,000 is what the initial cost is, and then it would be 60,000 a year after that?
It's gonna be, the 46,000 is the reoccurring cost year over year.
Oh, okay.
60.
It's $2,300.
If I heard him correctly, now, it was gonna be 60 to buy the cameras and then 46 for the reoccurring cost every year.
Is that
That's
right?
That is correct, so we're waiving the install 100%, so
Okay.
instead of having to pay the one-time install fee that first year, we're able to obviously shave that off entirely, which provides the county $15,000 in savings. So the only cost that is the focus is really the reoccurring cost. So year one, it would be $46,000, year two would be $46,000, so it's a predictable cost year over year.
Can I ask you why the reoccurring cost is so expensive?
Did you hear that?
That's just through how many cameras we have placed right now. So the approach we took is kind of the max county approach. So we were to have an inbound strategy for all the major highways, parkways, and roads coming into the county. There's not going to be an area for a suspect to go without them passing through one of the yards. So that we took the max approach, knowing that if we need to scale back due to financial purposes, we are obviously able to do that. But we wanted to come in today to prepare and show you what the full all-in cost would look like if we were to get every road covered.
Yeah, what he needs to do, come in and show us it.
I would think, yeah, I mean, but, I mean, I know a little bit about them, and I mean, Norman does too, but, I mean, you all, if you want some demonstration too, so, but, I mean, y'all got any more questions about anything?
You know, any grants or anything available?
Do you know of any grants available, Spencer, or is anybody, like other law enforcement agencies, that, have they passed along to you about grants that would cover these cameras?
I can look into some. Nothing that comes top of mind right now. I know there is a DOJ grant for like school violent crime that just got released, so I can pass that along. And I'll do some homework on my end to see if there's anything else that our broader team has access to, and I'll pass that along after the call.
Okay.
Any other questions, anybody?
Not right now, I guess.
I was just wondering, were they considering 20, there's no duplication with what the city has in existence, right, or not?
There's no, what's that now?
You're not gonna put a camera where the city already
Right,
currently
no,
has.
yeah, because you all installed the city's cameras too as well, right? So
Yeah,
there's
so
not
we still
gonna,
have their own contract.
yeah, so they're not gonna interfere or duplicate, basically cover an area where they already have a camera, because our cameras will link will basically link with their cameras as well.
Well, that's what I was thinking, so there wouldn't need to be a duplication, like us have one and them have one.
Right.
At the same spot.
Does Hardin County have these or just Elizabethtown?
Hardin County. Hardin County had their, he said they're getting ready to purchase 40 more to put in Hardin County. That's what Jeremy said. He said they were getting them out, that's what they're doing, is getting them all throughout the county.
And there's links also, all these link together.
They can't, and it's a setting, yes. And
Yeah.
is that correct, Spencer?
That is correct. You guys decide, if it's fully customizable and if you want to share access to the state, to the nation, whatever the square mileage is that you want to share that access to.
Yep.
And obviously have to return access is completely up to you.
If
So-
those are not linked and there's an Amber Alert, does that Amber Alert automatically go to, say, that person comes down the parkway, regardless if it's not linked, and say it happened in Nelson County? Without having that link, does that automatically trigger that? If it's an Amber Alert?
Yeah, so you're going to get real-time alerts from NCIC, Amber Alerts, and then any custom hot list that you create. So if Sheriff has a couple open cases, a vehicle description that he wants to share with the broader network, anytime that vehicle is to pass any LPR, whether in Grayson County or Hardin County, that real-time alert will get sent out to the neighboring jurisdiction that is ultimately where that car is crossing into.
And who enters that information? 911 dispatch?
That'll be the user, so Sheriff and 911, yes, sir.
So when I talked to Lindy when we come in here, she said, I guess they're gonna send somebody to training on the cameras because they already have them in the city. So, that would be beneficial. If we're on the radio, we're looking for a vehicle, they can get on that system and put the information in there and they can get alerted. That way they can give us the information. We don't have to have it pull up on our computer trying to do 10 things at once as well, so.
How many does the city have?
City has 13, I believe.
We've got 8, I think, what Billy said, I thought. They got 9.
You know?
Billy said they got 9 of them.
They got 9.
Okay. 13 came from.
Lindy?
So next week, Ian's gonna meet with us to do training. I'm gonna have him set up, he wants us to watch, because right now they've only got a certain select officers that are gonna get those alerts.
Mm-hmm.
So they need something that's 24/7, so we've got the 911 at GCE 911 email set up on each console, so that way it will automatically email those alerts in, since there's always somebody there, so we'll get them, and then we can transfer them out to the officers as they come in.
So right now, you all don't do anything with
Right
the
now, we're not
cities?
doing anything on them, not yet.
Gotcha.
But he's got, and I think it was a couple of proposals in the packets that I gave you. But he can, I'll have him come up, we can start off with a few cameras and maybe not that many, or however we need to do it. I think, obviously be beneficial, but he can come up, can get 2 or 3 proposals and put it together, and I can make sure that everybody gets a copy of that, whatever we need to do. But I certainly just wanted to present this to you all and kind of give you an idea of what, from my standpoint, and how I know that it will eventually benefit us. And if in the future we decide, hey, it's not worth it, then, they come and get the cameras.
I mean, I know the magistrates can, they could, whatever they decide, but I would recommend that he probably do 10, 15, and 20, get a proposal for 10, 15, and 20, and then that way they could see the difference in the price.
Okay.
And that way, and then, you can, I'm sure they'd want in their districts, and we've got 6 districts, so, some of them's got major intersections in them. And so, that way he could present it to them, and, they can go
You hear
from
that,
there.
Spencer?
Yes, sir.
Put like a 10 camera, 15 and 20 proposal together, and so they can see the price difference and upstart costs and stuff like that. So I told them that you could do that as well.
And find us a grant, Spencer.
And he said, find us a grant, Spencer.
Did I understand,
I will definitely, I'll do my homework here.
Go ahead.
did I understand that some of these, the cameras long range is different than the ones at short range? Like the price of recurrent price?
Long range versus short range or whatever, the
Did I
difference
hear
in
that right?
prices are there.
Yeah, so the difference in price for the long range is basically $5,000 versus $3,000. And just to give you some context around why that is just due to oftentimes we can put these on private property, city poles or the utility poles or DOT right away. And oftentimes to save the additional cost for that one-time install, we'll put in a long range just to offset the cost of having that being on DOT. Because on DOT right away, although it's not relevant for this kind of conversation, since we're able to waive that, on DOT, the one-time install per camera is $1,250. On city and utility poles, it's $650. But if we're able to place them on private property, then that's only going to be $150 for that one-time install per unit.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any more questions, anybody? Anything?
He's gonna waive the installation fee though, right?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Anything?
Sharpen your pencil and get us something together.
I'll work on my end too, Spencer. You have anything else that you wanna? Go ahead.
Yeah, you're right.
Go ahead, Spencer.
Oh, sorry, I was going to say, just to recap, a 10, 15, 20 camera deployment, and then looking at any available grants that might be available for the team.
Yep.
That's just have a takeaway.
We'll do something on our end too. I know I've got a guy that's pretty good at looking for grants too, so I'll get him to work on it as well.
Sounds great. Any other questions?
No. Thank you.
Comments?
Thank you.
Thank you,
No,
Spencer.
thank
I
you.
appreciate you.
All right, thanks, sir.
Have a
Thank
good-
you, everybody, for letting us join.
Thank you.
Take care.
Bye.
Mhm.
Norman, you said there was a proposal in our folders. Do you mean as to cost?
Yeah, I think there was one,
I didn't
wasn't in
see
there, it may
that.
not have been in
Am I-
there.
am I?
I'll have to look in that folder, see, I thought I saw it in there, maybe it was on my, I think it may have been on my email.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, I didn't see anything.
That
on
figure,
that.
I know, I remember that figure now, because it may be, like I said, it may be on the email. Parkways, WK, I think Kentucky Transportation, I don't believe that they allow them on the parkway.
Mhm.
Really?
They're really, I talked to Jerry today, he said they're real particular about it, so.
Wonder why.
Well, I thought that's what he was talking about, long range. That's what the.
Well, I mean, I think, that's what I thought too, but I don't know what the criteria is for to get one on the WK. I know we have to jump through some hoops, I believe, to go through Kentucky Transportation Academy.
Yeah, I'd be ready to
Something I'll
jump
check
on the
into.
cameras, but man, that reoccurrence every year, that's a bite, that's a big bite,
Can-
but.
Could there be one aimed at WK that's on private property?
Do what?
If
Yeah,
there's-
it could be, yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm
That's where
saying.
the long range comes
There's
in.
ways around that, I guess.
Well,
What would be the difference of the WK and the state highways?
I'm not sure. He just said Kentucky Transportation Cabinet, I don't know. I guess, I think there's some extra regulations or something that need to be met.
Cause don't Litchfield have some on 62?
They
Right
probably
there
don't
on
want-
Walmart, maybe?
They probably don't want to see who's wasting gas driving all their vehicles. Surprise me now. Ouch.
I would say it would add, I would say having one pointed at the WK would probably certainly get more alerts. It
Sure.
it may tie up our local people a little
But
bit.
just to recap, guys, this is not it's not it has no facial recognition on it, nothing like that. These are simply license plate readers.
and they're fixated, and meaning they're in one fixed direction. There's not a way to.
I don't think I mean, unless you manually get up, I don't know if you can, they might be able to tweak them to where maybe the camera, maybe a windstorm came and it turned the camera a certain way, but, it's on public property, so.
Yeah, I don't think they move. Nobody
That's-
can actually
Well,
monitor.
people in the past have had concerns about,
Yeah, no.
looking in my window. They're not turning, looking in windows.
Yeah, nobody's monitoring this system,
Right.
from my understanding. It's basically
Right.
computer generated through NCIC, right, Lindy?
Yes, I think it would it would help alleviate, like whenever they send out attempt to locates, from surrounding counties and we give them out.
Yeah.
It
My first-
from us having to get, you know.
Well, the golden alerts, I mean, I think about the golden alerts.
That, and my first day in office, literally my first night shift I worked in office, we had a fatality, hit and run on 259 South there at Donetta. I don't know if you remember that. Lady was hit in the curve there. We ended up making an arrest on it, but it took us several weeks to track down the vehicle. But, I mean, that would have been solved pretty quickly, because that car drove 259 South, and there's a camera right down there. We'd have known exactly what vehicle hit her. Things like that is where it'd be benefit as well.
All right, well, we'll wait till he gets that stuff in, we'll talk further about it next meeting.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Next, we got a resolution to approve interlocal agreement and establishment of the Litchfield Grayson County Economic Development Board. Jeremy?
Yeah, so you guys already voted to give Kevin authority to go ahead with this board. We had got with the law firm that's preparing a lot of the structure of this, and the resolution before you is one thing that is required, basically to kick this thing off. The interlocal cooperation agreement is exactly what it sounds like. It is boilerplate. Anybody can review it if they like. This does not include the meat and potatoes of how the economic board will operate. It's just an agreement between the city and the county. If the city does a resolution just like ours, it was prepared by the law firm. I've been working with Earlene, who's working with the mayor and the city council. And so this just allows him to be able to enter the interlocal cooperation agreement and then just do everything else that they need to in cooperation with the city.
Any questions, comments? Motion to
Motion.
approve. Motion by Darren,
Second.
second by Brian, all in favor? All right, next we need an approval, 2018 Chevrolet McCoy Miller ambulance, last four, 4688. We need to declare that surplus property.
Motion.
Motion by Ben, second by Brenda, all in favor? And then we need to approve to advertise for bids for road materials. Need a motion?
Motion.
Motion by Brian, second by Neil, all in favor? And then we need to approve the Grayson County Fire Chiefs Association countywide automatic mutual aid agreement. Motion by Brenda. Second by Ben, all in favor? And then we have an update from fiscal court committees, which we met before the meeting, and everything was fine. And then we need to, let's see, executive session. Before we do that, Blake, you got anything?
No, sir. Well,
Well,
actually,
tell them about the FEMA.
approved for individual assistance.
Yes.
For reimbursements for the April 2nd storms. We will be putting more information out on Facebook for that. We also did get approved for, or not approved, but we are a storm-ready county now. We did put some information out on Facebook about that as well.
And that was approved through the National Weather Service, correct? And the IA is individual assistance.
Correct.
And so tell them a little bit about what that is in case somebody asks.
So if in your private dwelling, for anybody that homeowner or anything of that sort, you're gonna be approved if you've got, you could apply for assistance through FEMA for any damages done to your personal residence. Now, if it's a public roadway or something like that, that falls under a different category, and we're taking care of that on our end for getting that approval. But the individual homeowners and that such, that's who can apply. We're setting them up. They're setting up this weekend actually, and we will be advertising what times and availability they have. We'll be here in Litchfield at the old.
And we've got several around the lake communities that are damaged.
Correct.
Beyond repair, basically. So.
Correct. There are several that have some homes that have slid off their foundations, and there's a list of information that they'll need to apply for that. We will include that in the press release as well, and we'll get it to the media. Make sure you guys know that as well. Yeah, if you've got any damage from the April 2nd storms that whole week. Continuing on, definitely we encourage you to apply. If you don't think it will, give it a shot anyway, and see if they will. We were approved with another group of counties for this individual assistance, so we were lucky to get in on this round as well. They've been doing small groups at a time, is why it took so long for us to get to the initial. We're still waiting to hear back on the public assistance side. That's a whole different ballgame in itself, but we do, if we're getting approved for individual assistance, we're expecting to hear a similar result for public assistance.
And we've got a lot of public assistance issues that we've got to address with roadways that's in your all's districts, and we've got one road in particular that's probably going to be north of $2 million to repair, which is in your district, Brian. Mm-hmm. And I would say we're going to be, with the damage that we had on some of these, we're going to be north of probably 5 to 6 million, wouldn't you think?
I don't know the exact estimates. That I know that we have taken FEMA out to several sites, such as Ridgecrest Road, or Ridgecrest Drive, sorry, Reddy Jackson Road, and several in your all's districts. I know Dee Dee has also been putting together a big list and estimate as well, not counting those, just the smaller incidents. So this is still a working estimate, so we're looking at, I mean, it could be several hundred thousand up into the millions of damages, and that's counting the roadways, that's counting any easements that's off those, storm drains and stuff like that go underneath those roadways. You know, there's several.
And we're also going to put in the watersheds that we had some issues
Correct.
with, because they ended up getting more damage after the last time that they was in here, and there's just quite a bit of stuff that we have, you know, to list on there, and some of it we've fixed and we've taken, you know, to them, and but hopefully that gets approved, because that could be devastating to our budget if it doesn't. So but if y'all have got anything or know of anything, anybody calls you, be sure and call Blake and Carrie and let them know, you know, that there's something out there that, you know, needs to be fixed, so we can add that on.
Right. Yeah, it's individual assistance as well. We can't stress that enough. Check our Facebook in the following days. That we will put that information of the documents you need, with the location and times of where you can apply through FEMA. That is a separate thing from our office. That doesn't come through us. We don't approve, we don't deny or anything. We just guide them to FEMA. FEMA is going to be the approving or denying entity on that. That won't come through the fiscal court or through emergency management. That's through FEMA.
Yeah, and our with that road, what we've done, that was way beyond our expertise as far as trying to repair that. The engineer with Lincoln Trail Area Development District came down, Charlie Allen, and Charlie's the one that put the bid package together for us on that. So, and we got anything else like that, we probably need to get him on it too. So, anything else? Anything? Lindy, you got anything? We're gonna go in executive session. I don't know how long.
No, I think we're good. They're our last one in the academy now. So fingers crossed everything stays that way for a while.
Yeah,
No
getting prices on the fire alarms, the ones that's out.
Well, yes, I'm still working on that. I emailed some of my friends through Kentucky Abco,
Yeah.
and they give me 3 different people to get some bids through, so we could just check to make sure it was right.
Okay, gotcha. All right, I need a motion going to executive session. Motion by Brenda, second by Ben, all in favor.
motion.
Motion by Brenda,
Second.
second by Brian, all in favor? All right. We was in there on personnel issues and we'll address them with individuals later. New business. Jason.
I have a late.
All right. I'll get them here in just a second. I got them on down here.
That's all I got.
Ben?
No, sir. No.
Darren? Brenda? You got anything? You got anything? Anything? Jeremy?
No new business. I got some old business.
Okay, old business. Go ahead, Jeremy.
Last month we filed a lien on AmeriGas, thanks to your all's action, and we got the checks yesterday, so we distributed those today.
Thank you.
Good deal.
Good.
One thing I want to bring up, so that way I don't forget it, is the other action that we took out on Evely Road. And I think Mr. Nodlet went out there, done a work. Steve and them went out there and said that, of course, have you been out there, John, and looked at it? They said it was satisfactory, said it looked great, that they've done a lot of work to get the road back to where it's at. However, there's about $3,300 worth of guardrail that has to be put up. And that I figured it up for the man hours and I figured it up for the material, and it's about $3,300. Mr. Smith called me about it and left me a message, and I called him and told him I would get with him. Can you get with him and tell him that that would be it, and as far as I'm concerned, unless the court wanted to do something else, that'd be closed out.
Hallelujah, that'd be good. Does Kenny have that exact number, or do you?
I've got it in there.
Okay, I'll get it.
Okay.
I'll get it.
Yeah, I've got it in there. So, I just wanted to pass that along too. That happened this week also, so. Old business? Anybody?
No.
Anybody? No old business. Linda, you got anything? Matt, questions? Blake, nothing? All right, I need to approve treasurer's additional bills for approval that came in a little late on us.
Motion.
Motion by Ben. Second by Jason, all in favor? And also, we have some jail bills that came in a little later than usual, so could you?
Make a motion.
Motion by Neil.
Second.
Second by Brian, all in favor? And I need to declare the repair of Fragrant Road Bridge an emergency. We had another issue. Of course, y'all know we've got to put in a temporary crossing down on Buckhorn Bridge, and Buckhorn Bridge is, we passed the resolution and all that, so we've got, we'll be getting the money after we do the repairs. It's out for bid right now. We're gonna open the bids up, I think, next Thursday, I think it is. And Charlie done that for us, Charlie Allen, the Lincoln Trail Area Development District engineer. And then we got a call from the inspector for the state that said they're gonna shut down Fragrant Road Bridge because of the tide. And so we got a letter yesterday, I think, saying we had 5 days to do something. So the road department is going out there and they're gonna put in a temporary water crossing. So the resident out there, I think there's two parcels of land, 2 farms maybe, and someone lives on the other side, of course, and we've got to get that put in so they can get in and out, because the state's not wanting anybody to cross that bridge. Charlie came by, went down there and looked at it, and I think we can get by without putting a bridge in. I think we could do box culverts, and it's way cheaper. And instead of going through, because the amount of residents on the other side, it's gonna be hard to get it approved through the state, but we can apply for emergency funds. And I talked to Commissioner Lewis and she was fine with that, but we need to declare emergency on that to go ahead and get the repairs done, because there's no way in or out over there. I mean, there's one way,
Yeah.
I mean, there's one way in and out, so. And we had all the homeowners and landowners agreed to let us go in a temporary entrance. So I just need a motion to declare that motion. So motion by Ben and second by Darren, all in favor? All right, anything else? Anything else? All right, motion to adjourn. Motion by Jason, second by Brenda, all in favor?